And good evening and welcome to Mackenzie Stadium in Holyoke, Massachusetts. It's time for the 2009 NECBL All-Star Game. I'm Nick Lima, representing the NECBL Eastern Division. I'm joined by Sean Medeiros from the NECBL West. Sean, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you, Nick?
I'm doing well, and the weather looks like it's getting cooperating for first time really all season.
It's been terrible in the NECBL really all season. Lowell feeling the worst of it, especially in Lowell, Mass. But it looks like we're going to get this one in, and it'll be a good All-Star game.
Yeah, the rainouts have plagued this season probably more than any other in NECBL recent history. 11 rainouts for the Newport Gulls this season as well, though the rain held off last night as Newport defeated the Manchester Silkworms, sweeping a doubleheader last night in Manchester. The Gulls come in to this All-Star game and the All-Star break with the best record in the NECBL. How are the Keene Swamp Bats doing right now?
Swamp Bats are 19-12 on the season. Picked up a win yesterday against the Lowell All-Americans in an 8-inning shortened game. So the Swamp Bats doing pretty well. They had snapped a 3-game winning streak to a loss to Sanford, so they'll come back and hopefully just represent well in the NECBL All-Star game tonight.
Right now, Sean, in the NECBL East, the Newport Gulls are starting to put some distance between themselves and the North Shore Navigators in second place, and with New Bedford and Manchester and Lowell and Sanford all fighting for those last two playoff spots. What's going on in the NECBL West? It's been a much tighter race over there this season.
Well, in the Western Division, you've seen a lot of lead changes. Keene was out ahead really early, and then later on, Vermont came into play and North Adams. As of yesterday, it was a 3-way tie between all three teams, so expect it to be that way until the last week of the season, and it'll be really tough to see who is really the number one team at the end of the last week of the season.
All-Star Baseball here at Mackenzie Stadium in Holyoke, Massachusetts. Sean and I will be back in just a few moments as the pregame show continues next here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back here at Mackenzie Stadium in Holyoke, Massachusetts. It's the 2009 NECBL All-Star Game pregame show. I'm Nick Lima from the Newport Gulls broadcast operation, now joined by the manager of this season's NECBL Eastern Division All-Stars, Newport Gulls manager Mike Coombs. Skip, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Nice warm day here, sunshine, no rain. The best of the best with these players here on both sides, and it's going to be a great day for a baseball game.
Now, Coach, is this your third time managing the NECBL East or Southern Division All-Stars?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't keep track. All I know is I came in today and one person said, "Oh, you're like an icon here or something. You're like it's almost like every game." I said, "I don't know. I think I've done it a few times."
What do you do differently in preparing the lineup for a game like this than you would for a regular game with the Newport Gulls?
It's easy because when all the coaches get together, we go, who's going to start, who's going to be a sub. Somebody gets bumped as far as maybe an injury or whatever, then we know. I stay close contact with Mario, the league commissioner, so him and I chat with the other coaches, and then we just go from there. So it's pretty easy. Just I can work an ink pen. I can put them in there. I got Verge and Foster. I got Coach Luke. I got Coach from Sanford. I got everybody here. So, I might fall asleep in the dugout. We had a late night last night. No, it's pretty easy to do when you're, hopefully I got 9 pitchers and all 9 do very well, so we don't have to, run somebody out there for somebody. So we do that, and, just everybody gets a shot to play, and it's a good deal.
Now, the game will go to the bottom of the 9th inning regardless of the score?
Yeah, that's what I was informed to, and that's the best way to do it because, if you don't go that bottom sometimes, if the visiting team's not ahead, then you're looking at one shy on a pitcher, so it's supposed to go that, and we'll go that.
Now, if there's a tie going into the last of the 9th, and that persists into what could be the 10th inning, will there be extra innings in this exhibition game, or will the game just be concluded at that point?
That is going to be determined by Mario Tantanani. You go see him and ask him that question because I can't answer that. Only he can, and. If he wants to, that's entirely up to him. But by that time, our pitchers should be burnt. So I think we're done after that. But that's his call.
Coach, in the last 6 years, the Southern Division, now of course the Eastern Division, has had a 4-2 advantage over the Western or Northern Division All-Stars. Do you see that continuing here tonight? This Southern Division team has really had the advantage thus far this season in pitching and defense, but the Western Division teams have had a much bigger offensive advantage.
Yeah, no, they definitely swing the bats. We've played all of them in games, and there's no funeral home over there. They swing it and they play well, and so hopefully our pitching can shut them down. But you never know.
Newport Gulls now have 8 All-Stars here with the addition of Tim Smalling.
Yeah, we had another catcher go. That's the first time I've ever seen that. We had all 3 catchers go down. So Felix went from DH to starting catcher, and then they added Stumpo, and then we put the alternate Smalling in there at. He'll hit the tail end of the game with Westlake. Westlake will start at DH, and then Smalling will come in and finish up for him.
Who are the players to watch out for in this contest from the other teams in the Eastern Division?
All of them. You never know. You never know who's going to step up and have a great day and be the MVP. You never know that. I know last year Mike Melillo had a very outstanding year, and he came into the All-Star game and did what he did and became the MVP. So for me to say it could be anybody. You just never know. It could be a pitcher, it could be a hitter, some sparkling defensive plays. You just never know.
Newport Gulls manager Mike Coombs, the manager of the Eastern Division All-Stars. Thanks for joining us, and good luck tonight against the NECBL West.
Thanks, Nick, and it's good to see you. What time did you get here today?
About 8 o'clock this morning.
Attaboy, Nick. True blue and a hard worker, and we appreciate you because you are the NECBL All-Star broadcaster. That's Nick Lima, our guy.
Thanks, Skip. Sean Medeiros will be back in a moment with the manager's report for the NECBL Western Division next, as the pregame show continues on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
We're back here live at Mackenzie Stadium for the 2009 NECBL All-Star Game. Sean Medeiros here with head coach Marty Testo of the Western Division. Only in your second season as a head coach for the Keene Swamp Bats. How does it feel to be the All-Star coach today?
It's an honor for sure. I mean, it's really a reflection of how well our guys have played, for 3/4 of the season, and be able to be in first place when they did the selection. And it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Speaking of the Swamp Bats, kind of talk about the season so far that they've had.
It's like a roller coaster. If you look at what we've done, really, we win some in a row, we lose some in a row, we win some in a row, we lose some in a row. So it's been consistent. I don't know a good consistency, but it's been consistent. We got good kids. We got kids that love to play. They play hard. I'm really enjoying myself. I got 2 great assistants, Dan Moylan and Chris Johns, that have been very helpful with the duties that we have, and working with the kids and hopefully sending them back to their respective schools better players.
Dan Moylan, a coach with you at Keene State College, won't be here tonight. Why is the reason?
He's making his debut. He's trying to get his college certification in basketball officiating. He's a very good high school official in the state of New Hampshire and Vermont. He got a call to go try out to get his college license, so I'm excited for him. I hope he does well.
What can we expect from the Western Division team tonight?
Hopefully some good solid baseball. The pitchers will throw strikes. We'll make plays in the field. We'll take some good at-bats and have a chance to win a ball game at the end of it, really. I mean, it's kind of you don't really know what you're going to get. Obviously, everybody in there is deserving of the nomination, and they're having good years. So hopefully it transfers over and just blend 28 guys together real quick, make sure each of them get their at-bats and some playing time, and you got a chance to win at the end.
Thank you, Marty. We expect a good game tonight. We'll take a break here at the All-Star Game. It's the Western Division versus the Eastern Division when we return later on. Thank you.
Welcome back here at Mackenzie Stadium as our pregame show continues as we await the start of the 2009 NECBL All-Star Game. I'm Nick Lehman, now joined by Pittsfield American Defenders broadcaster Mike Radomski. Mike, how are you doing today?
Doing very well. Glad to be out here. Everyone's saying it's a gorgeous day, and that's what we have.
This is your second season now in the NECBL. Is this your second All-Star game in attendance of?
Yep, second All-Star game. I feel like the players are here. It's an opportunity for everyone just to come out, mingle, and enjoy the festivities, and that's what we're all here for.
How's Pittsfield faring so far this season?
Pittsfield right now, they're 11-16. They've struggled a little bit of late. They've had a couple days off now. They've actually had 2 back-to-back days off, then 2 rain-out games, and now they have 2 days off for the All-Star break. So that's 6 consecutive days off, yet after all that, they're 1 game outside of a playoff spot. So you consider everything that's happened, they're in a pretty good spot, except the next 2 weeks, they're going to be playing doubleheaders every day, essentially, and they're going to be playing 12 games in a span of 8 days. That's going to be very difficult, but these guys are ready for it.
That seems to be the story around the league. What kind of representation this year does Pittsfield have on the NECBL Western All-Stars?
Pittsfield does have 4 players. They have Casey Lytles from the University of Kansas starting as the designated hitter. They also have outfielder Jimmy Waters, also a Kansas Jayhawk. He'll be coming off the bench. as well as Zach Anderson, a shortstop from Judson University, and they also have Robert Young, a left-handed pitcher from Dartmouth University. And they're also very well represented during those skills competitions because they have Brandon Newton in the 60-yard dash. He's from Lindenwood University. He'll also be in the home run derby. Then they have Zach Williams in the infield competition. They have Corey Davison in the catcher's competition. And the outfield, they'll have Casey Lytle. So all the way through, Pittsfield well represented.
All right, Mike Radomski, American Defenders broadcaster, thanks for joining us here in the pregame show. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thank you. Glad to have it.
Thank Mike Radomski for joining us as the pregame show continues next right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
And welcome back to the NECBL Broadcast Network. My name is Alex Bursch, and alongside me, the owner of the Holyoke Blue Sox, Ms. Karen Rella. Karen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
It seems to be quite the big day here in Holyoke, Massachusetts, and I'm sure it is a very big honor for the Holyoke Blue Sox to be hosting the All-Star Game. But of course, such a big honor comes, I'm sure, with a lot of sacrifices, mostly time. How is that? How is setting up the All-Star Game?
It's been a tremendous undertaking, but we're thrilled and honored to be able to host it this year. I'll tell you, every year the bid goes out to all the different NECBL teams, and each one of us have an opportunity to go ahead and bid and step up and be able to take on that real responsibility that goes along with it. And we were, again, honored that we were awarded that. So Holyoke is in Pioneer Valley is a fantastic community and group of organizations, and they're just thrilled to come out and support it. But yes, it's been a lot of time, but a lot of blood, sweat, and tears have gone in, but we're thrilled. We treated the players, the All-Star players today, to a private tour at the Basketball Hall of Fame. In fact, Michael Jordan's going to be inducted there in a couple weeks, so there was a lot of press and PR and some unique experiences that they got to do, and as well as a lot of camps and children were there this morning, and all of the players just really took it amongst themselves and played some basketball and hoop with them, and it just, again, creates that incredible experience for the kids and the fans. And then afterwards, we had a private VIP luncheon at Pazzo's, which is a very high-end restaurant here in Pioneer Valley, and they treated us like gold. And, these players are superstars today, and hopefully superstars of the future. So it's been fun, some morning, afternoon activities. But now we're here today. We're now ready to play ball.
That we are. You make it seem like half the day is already over, and you know what? The fun seems to just be beginning. We have a lot of great festivities here in Holyoke to be had here for the NECBL players to be participating in. And Karen, do you think you can give us a little bit of a preview of what people are going to be seeing today at the ballpark?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we run this organization, and we're running this All-Star event today really like the Major League Baseball. They have their home run derby, their All-Star game, and we really mirror our activities and our skills in our competition just like they are. We've got one of the head scouts of the Boston Red Sox coming and running the skills competition this afternoon, Ray Fagnant, and he's brought all of his other scouts and that are going to be facilitating all of these activities. But we've got the 60-yard dash. We've got ultimately the crowd pleaser, the home run derby, which I have to tell you at Mackenzie Field and Stadium, that's going to be quite a task to get one of these home runs out. But we're pulling in the yardage in a little bit to maybe help out. But we also do the catchers and all sorts of fun stuff. So it's going to be exciting. And then ultimately we'll have the game itself.
Absolutely. As you see, she's a busy woman. But before I let you go and let you take care of so many of the responsibilities, like you mentioned, that are needed today, quickly, do you think you can give us a better idea of what you meant by bringing in the feet marker in the outfield?
Yeah, I mean, Mackenzie Stadium for years has always been known for having very far away their fences. So very rarely do we see any home runs, although I have to tell you, in the last, I think 5 years, there's only been about a dozen or so home runs. So what we've done, so it's a little bit more exciting for our fans, is be able to bring in those fences a little bit and, hopefully see a lot more home runs today. But I don't know the exact yardage that we're bringing it in, but it's still regulation qualified. It's no one's getting any shortcuts here.
Yeah, not exactly like a mini Fenway here, but no cheap shots still are going to be hit here during the Derby. Well, Ms. Rella, thank you very much for coming on the air with us, and it is just the beginning of what is going to be an extremely exciting day, a big day here in Holyoke, Massachusetts. I'm Alex Bursch, and please stay with us on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
And welcome back here to Mackenzie Stadium in Holyoke, Massachusetts. My name is Nick Lima, joined by Sean Medeiros here in the ACBO Broadcast Network as we get set for All-Star Baseball. Sean?
It'll be a good game today between the Western Division and Eastern Division All-Stars, as we have some Poland lineups and some good pitching coming into the game tonight, especially the starter Tim Boyce has been lights out. He was the 2008 starter or pitcher of the year in the NECBL last year, so it should be a good one here at Mackenzie Stadium.
Getting set right now for the pregame festivities here, including a skills competition, the home run derby, the annual home run derby, which will be taking place here at Mackenzie Stadium. This is a very large ballpark. I don't know how a home run derby is going to quite work here, Sean.
It'll be interesting to see if these players can get the ball out of the park, as it was previously mentioned that the fences have been moved in somewhat, but it's still 327 down both lines and 377 to center field, and the ball really doesn't carry that well here in Mackenzie Stadium.
Getting set for the beginning of the first round of the skill competition. It should be a 60-yard dash. Brandon Newton of Pittsfield, Cooper Blanc of Holyoke, Sean Harrell of Danbury, Peter Verdon from Keene, Adam Matthews of Sanford, and Mike Robertson from the Manchester Silkworms. The 6 contestants in the 60-yard dash. Now each team had the option of entering a player, and the way it's going to work, the fastest 4 times will get to run again for the fastest man in the NECBL crown.
Be interesting to see who comes out of this first heat into the second heat, as there are some other faster players in the NECBL too that have been held out of this competition. Some of those guys like Henry Dunn and Dusty Harvard, Dunn from Vermont, Harvard from the New Bedford Bay Sox. Peter Verdon representing Keene. Don't expect him to be in the top heat maybe in this competition as much as in the outfield throw. That's where Verdon's going to live. The likes of Cooper Blank from Holyoke and Sean Harrell from Danbury, those could be 2 guys to watch out for in this first heat of competitors.
Dan Sturdivant, our fellow broadcaster in the ACBO Broadcast Network of the Holyoke Blue Sox organization, has been tapped to run this event. He's down the field with the wireless mic, and we'll be picking him up momentarily as the skills competition gets set to get underway. Some warm-ups being undertaken right now by some of the fastest men in the NECBL.
You have to be careful. Hopefully these competitors are warmed up enough, as they're not usually used to sprinting in this track style type of sprinting, so hopefully they do not pull anything and they'll be okay. That's the one thing with these skills competitions that you have to worry about as a manager and a player, getting hurt in something like especially the 60-yard dash, which would probably be the worst of all of these competitions as far as injuries and pulling something.
Now, the way they have it set up right now, they have some pylons down the field ranging from the foul line on the shallow outfield territory on the first base line all the way out to center field. They have a string of 6 pylons and then yard markers, like it's a football stadium, going out every 10 yards, all the way out to 50. Now, it is a 60-yard dash. As the players complete their warm-ups, again, Brandon Newton from Pittsfield, Cooper Blanc of Holyoke, Sean Harrell from Danbury, Peter Verdon of Keene, Adam Matthews of Sanford, and Mike Robertson of Manchester, the NECBL West. A little bit more represented in this one than the East. Of course, the West known more for its base stealing prowess.
It'll be interesting to see who comes out of it, though, as you mentioned, a lot of teams from the Western Division, as Sanford and Manchester, Matthews and Mike Robertson. Haven't really seen Mike Robertson all that much, but Adam Matthews does possess a lot of speed, so look for him to be one of the top competitors in this first skills competition. Again, the skills competition will also feature the catcher's throw, infield throw, outfield throw, and the, of course, ever so popular home run derby, with a slew of competitors across both divisions in that home run derby. This will be the first, the 60-yard dash of those competitions. So tonight and throughout the day, the
competitions will go with the 60-yard dash, then the outfield throw, then the infield throw, then the catcher's throw, then the home run derby. And there'll be the West PP, East PP, Infield and Mascot Olympics. Then we'll have introductions, and hopefully by 6:30 we'll be ready to go with the All-Star game.
All right, now a entourage of scouts and other officials from the NECBL making their way down with clipboards in hand to watch some of the fastest runners in the NECBL. Now, again, only 2 members of the Eastern Division are represented here. Adam Matthews from Sanford comes into this All-Star break 5 for 5 in stolen bases in the season. That's 4th on the Sanford Mainers as a squad. But he was elected to represent Sanford here. Mike Robertson representing the Manchester Silkworms, the only other Eastern Division representative.
Nick, it's interesting to see that in this competition throughout the league, in the top 5 stolen base categories, there actually isn't one player in the top 5 that is running this 60-yard dash. The top 5 would be John Schultz from North Adams. He is a perfect 16 of 16. Brandon Macias from North Adams as well, 13 of 13 perfect. Henry Dunn, as I mentioned before, has 12. He's tied with Trey Dennis from North Shore. He also has 12. And Dusty Harvard, who has 11. I've seen his speed firsthand in New Bedford at Paul Walsh Field. He stole home against Adam Conley of the Keene Swampettes on a straight steal to home. So Dusty Harvard having speed, all 5 of those guys really have speed, but they're not going to be in the contest. So it's really interesting to see who will come out on top in this category of players that we have.
Mike Robertson is the stolen base leader for the Manchester Silkworms, 6 for 8 on the season, just one ahead of A.J. Rusparski, who is 5 for 10. Rusparski also will represent Manchester on the All-Star team along with Travis Higgs and Mike Borden. I got a long night of festivities ahead here as they get set to run the 60-yard dash. Looking to get started right on time at 3:30 in about 2 minutes, but still to come, the home run derby, the throwing competitions. They'll have batting practice shortly thereafter. We'll try to use that opportunity to give you more of an insight into the NECBL and talk to some special guests who may be gracing us with their presence here today, as well as league officials and team officials who have all gathered here in Holyoke this afternoon and this evening. Then the Mascot Olympics, will they be taking place, scheduled for 5:30. I don't know if they're going to have a torch lighting or any kind of crazy opening ceremonies for that, but I imagine it's going to be interesting.
It'll definitely be interesting, and we'll get to see it firsthand. Wonder what kind of festivities they'll have going on the field. I don't know if you can take any guesses on who would be a favorite in that contest, but maybe you'd have to go by the mascot costume or something like that, maybe to catch a barometer of who would do what in the Mascot Olympics.
Now, all 12 teams in the NECBL do have a mascot outfit, though not all of them are typically represented at the All-Star game. Last year, I think they set a record. They had 9 mascots suited up and present at Torrington, and they had a couple of group photos representing Ribby from the Keene Swampettes, Gully from the Gulls. Bruce D. Moose was oddly absent last year. Bruce D. Moose and
that's surprising,
his
Nick.
And there's some more interesting mascots. The big Moose outfit. Of course, Cardines Field in Newport is one of the few ballparks you'll see in this league with a mascot. The real mascot actually makes occasional visits to the field as Gulls always fly overhead. You don't really see any moose crossing the outfield in Sanford or bats flying around during the daylight anyway at Keene.
Don't think you'll see any swamp bats at Keene, so.
Blue Sox, they have like a bear type mascot, do they not?
I believe so, Nick. I think you're right in that one.
Surprised I haven't seen him wandering around somewhere. I'm sure it's going to be interesting later. Actually, Skip, the famous chipmunk for the Vermont Mountaineers with the water gun, who loves going after broadcasters, including myself, parachuted it. He skydived into Montpelier Recreation Field for the 2004 NECBL All-Star Game at Vermont. That was must have been an interesting sight to see, a mascot jumping out of a plane, the parachute strapped to their back. You can be careful reaching for that pull cord.
This year, North Adams also having the first pitch coming in and the flag for the national anthem through the sky jumping or the skydiving technique. That was interesting to see at North Adams, that's for sure.
Steeplecast hosted their own All-Star Game in 2007. They had a flyover to start that one from two 8:10 Warthogs. They flew by right after the national anthem, coordinated by the Massachusetts Air National Guard. It was quite a show as they pull out all the stops there. That was the highest attended All-Star game in NECBL history in 2007. The Southern Division defeated the Northern Division 8-0 at North Adams in 2007. Last year, of course, the South again took a victory 5-2 over the Torrington Twisters, or over the Northern Division at Torrington. Torrington Twisters hosting the All-Star game, and their last season in Torrington, they saw 2,314 fans there last year. And of course, Torrington moved off to New Bedford shortly after that. Almost like the closing of Yankee Stadium. Torrington was really a stalwart in this league for the longest time, more than a decade. The Twisters were a regular feature, always making the postseason, though not having much luck in the championship series.
Love the backdrop of Torrington's field as well. But Paul Walsh Field, also a very good field in New Bedford. So just have the change there, but it's kind of sad to see a storied franchise like Torrington go away.
Yeah, the transition to New Bedford, and of course the Bay Sox joined the Blue Sox as the other Sox here in the NECBL. Both teams newly named as of last year. Blue Sox, formerly known as the Concord Quarry Dogs. So this is the second time that the franchise has hosted an All-Star game. Back in 2003, the Concord Quarry Dogs up in Concord, New Hampshire, hosted the game. So 1,326 fans at the Doane Diamond in Concord, New Hampshire. 6-0 Northern Division victory back in 2003. And going back the last 6 years, the South has had the advantage 4 times over the North's 2. And a couple of shutouts along the way. So some good-sized crowds. Newport hosted the game in 2005. I sent it down to the field and picked up Dan Sturdivant, set the ground rules for the skills competition.
Their best time will be taken, and whoever has the fastest time will be deemed the fastest man in the NECBL.
So it looks like they're about set to go down there. And as the players that line up, they've got some flags now at the end of the, I guess you could call it the 60-yard line, as the yard lines go goal, 10, 20, 30, 40, but goal is about 10 yards back of the foul line. I think the start point is the foul line.
Should be the start point. It'll be interesting to see how the players set up coming from a track and field background. It would make more sense if you wanted a better 60-yard dash to go from a crouch than a straight stand-up, but we'll see what the players use.
Well, it should be interesting to see how this unfolds, because there was an injury in this competition last year as the Mountaineers lost a player for the remainder of the season because of this. So players do have to be careful, and they've been stretching up, warming up for the last half hour or so, making sure they're ready to go as soon as the team photos and the media photos here at the All-Star game were wrapped up down on the field.
And that is the reason why Vermont has held some of their players out of certain competitions, especially Henry Dunn. In the top 5 in the league in stolen bases, he could have certainly been in this and been in the thick of things in the 60-yard dash, but not running it today for a precautionary reason.
Well, down on the field, looks like they're set to go. Let's pick up Dan Sturdivant. Looks like they're having a little bit of technical difficulties with their wireless microphone down there.
All right, so guys, help me out here. I think let me do this. Down and talk.
Folks, our first contestant from the Sox, Cooper.
Looks like Dan Sturdivant having some technical difficulties, and the first contestant is off in the 60-yard dash. Looked like Cooper Blank, who was the first contestant for the 60-yard dash. Again, Brandon Newton from Pittsfield, Sean Harrell from Danbury, Peter Verdon from the Swampats, Adam Matthews from Sanford, and Mike Robertson from Manchester. See who steps up next. Again, the top 4 best times will be taken and then moved into another heat for a final dash to see who is the winner. Dan still having trouble with the wireless mic down there. See who comes up next in the 60-yard dash. We'll try to supply an unofficial time up here with the runners going off. Looks like Adam Matthews showed his Sanford jersey. He steps up next. Matthews is off. About a 6.97, Nick. Round that up to 7 flat, so not a bad time for Adam Matthews from Sanford. Be the Manchester player Mike Robertson next, as they are not running with their jerseys, just showing their baseball jerseys. Again, these times that we're supplying up here, unofficial.
Courtesy of your handheld watch.
I'm a track coach for a reason. I didn't get the start time on that one, so don't worry about that time. It's tough to gauge really how fast they're going as we are high up in the press box. Although Robertson was showing some wheels there. Now it's Brandon Newen from Pittsfield. Again, the American defenders with the camo jerseys. Again, the players will show their top jersey but not be wearing them.
From the Pittsfield American defenders.
Newen's off. See how he fares against Matthews. About a 7.1 there, Nick. So a little bit slower.
A little bit slower than Matthews. Looks like Robertson might have been a little bit off the pace of Matthews as well, though we'll wait for the official time.
It'll be Sean Harrell from Danbury. Peter Verdon yet to run for the Swamp Bats.
Next up, from the Danbury Westerners, Sean Harrell.
So Harrell will run here. See how Harrell fares against the rest of the field. He's got off to a good start. About a 6.7, Nick. That's the fastest we've seen so far. Again, handheld time will obviously go off of the official times of what is recorded down on the field.
Yeah, Harrell really had some movement there. It looked like he had more of an upright sprint. He used more of the arm power to carry him forward.
Well, what you really want to do is in transition phase is you want to be low, then come up from a crouch, and that's when you're starting to hit your max speed. Didn't think I'd be using my track background in baseball, but it'll help here.
Once again, Cooper Blank from the Holyoke Blue Sox.
Cooper Blank from the Blue Sox now. And he's off. He looked like he had a pretty good time the first time. Harrell seems to be the fastest thus far. 7.3 if you round up for Cooper Blank. So Harrell seeming to be the fastest thus far.
About a dozen or so scouts down there taking notes.
Supposed to be about 40 on hand, Nick, today.
Yeah, they'll be showing up over the course of the afternoon. Usually that's the case.
Runner is off, getting up from the crouch now as looks to be in good form, and he slipped. That's going to mess up the time. That's a 7.33.
Yeah, he could have had that at least a couple tenths of a second faster. Looks like he tripped over the 30-yard marker. That slowed him down. He slowed down at the very end, too, when he knew that messed up his time anyway.
Looks like Sean Harrell again, who's had the fastest unofficial time thus far. And he's off. Good stride rate for Harrell. Down the 60-yard line, and the time, 7.12, Nick. It's not bad. He's put in 2 good times. Would be surprised, or wouldn't be surprised actually, if Brandon Newton gets a better time than the first. See how Newton fares. Newton's off. About the 10-yard, 20-yard now. Good time for Newton. 7.41, a little slow there than expected.
Yeah, it seemed like he was coming along a bit faster, but I think he had a slow start.
Harrell's been the most consistent thus far out of all the competitors in the 60-yard dash. .7, and he's got a really good start off the right field line, so I think that's what's helping Harrell there.
All right, all of our competitors have now gone twice.
Don't think Peter Verdon ran, Nick, so he may have been pulled out of the 60-yard dash. Would expect him in the outfield throw, though.
Well, that narrows the field down to 5.
Sean Harrell, 6.63 fastest time. I don't think that's going to be beaten. As we've looked at some of the times, we've had Newton with a 7.4, Cooper Blank with a 7.3. Newton's fastest has been a 7.1. Harrell has been under 7 seconds each time he's run thus far. The award might be going to Harrell. It's going to be good for the scouts to get some speeds on these guys, but I would imagine the infield, outfield, and catcher throw would probably be the most important to the scouts as far as the competition skills go.
Imagine the home run derby won't factor all that much here.
Not at Mackenzie Stadium. There was discussion that they move the fences in, but it still might be tough as not a good wind doesn't carry the ball very far at Mackenzie Stadium in Holyoke, Mass.
Yeah, the wind blowing from left to right here tonight will help the ball carry up the first baseline, but not anywhere else here. Anything hit the center or left field will just die out there.
We'll see who goes first in the competition.
Now to decide who is the fastest man in the NECBL. It is between the Sanford Mariners' Adam Matthews running 6.67.
So Matthews and Sean Harrell.
Westerners, they'll run side by side to see who is the fastest man in the league.
We'll see who wins this one-on-one competition.
Side by side they'll go. This could be interesting.
Matthews turning in some good times in the first couple of heats that he ran, and so did Sean Harrell. It's going to be very close. It's definitely going to be a photo finish unless someone doesn't get a good start. That's the key to this, really, Nick, is how well you start. It's what it's all about, as especially in high school track and field, try to teach the kids to get out of the blocks fast. The runner's not using blocks, so already a disadvantage for both runners, as you don't use blocks in baseball anyway, so might as well not use them. But the start is the biggest thing here for both of these competitors. See when they get them on the line. The skill competition being run by Red Sox scout Ray Fagnet. It's a big name in the baseball world. So Harrell and Matthews, the two competitors in the 60-yard dash.
We'll have following this final heat will be the outfield throwing contest.
The outfield throwing contest will be next. That'll be Ted Zentik from Manchester, Derek Jones from Nick Lima's Newport Gulls, Casey Lytle from Pittsfield, Brian Valencia from Danbury, and Peter Verdon from the Swamp Bats. That'll be next. So Harrell and Matthews on the line. The official, if you will, in the red shirt, saying ready, set, go with the wave of the hat, no gun for the scout. So Harrell of Danbury and Matthews of Sanford. And the runners are off. Looked like a good start there by Matthews from Sanford to the line, and it looks like it's going to be Matthews from the Sanford Mainers.
Looks like he had him by about a tenth of a second. The whole way he was leading as he puts his arm around him and congratulates him. A little bit winded after that one.
As I mentioned, Nick, it all has to do with the start, and Adam Matthews had a better one off the line. Can't imagine that they would have tied there, as Matthews had a better start. In fact, he may have false started if you want to be looking at the start of both runners. It looked like Matthews got off just a little bit ahead of Harrell, but that was before the hat was dropped.
Folks, it was a photo finish, but with a mark of 6.72. The winner is Adam Matthews from the
6.72 for Adam Matthews, so the Sanford Mainers will get a win in the 60-yard dash as Adam Matthews runs a 6.72, just edging out Sean Harrell from the Danbury Westerners. That was a really close finish, Nick.
It was extremely close. He had him, I guess, by a nose up there at the line as Matthews takes the win in the first event of this pre-game for the All-Star game. A lot more still to come here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. We got the throwing competitions coming up, the Home Run Derby, and of course the game itself. We'll have exclusive coverage of the entirety of the pregame ceremonies, pretty much from right now right through to the end of the night, and the presentation of the MVP award.
So the outfield competition for those of you at home, again, Ted Zentek from Manchester, Derek Jones from Newport, Casey Lytle from Pittsfield, Brian Valencia from Danbury, and Peter Verdon from Keene. Nick, if you had to pick a player in this outfield throw, who would you choose before going into it? I have my guy. I know it's a little biased, but I've seen him all season long, and he does have an arm. He's played center field, and he's played catcher so far this season. He's made some plays throwing runners out at third and throwing runners out at second. I'd have to go with my guy, Peter Verdon, here.
Well, I'm going to have to take the safe bet as well. I'm going to go with Derek Jones from Newport. No surprises from this broadcast booth. Derek Jones, I've watched him throughout the season so far. He's made some sensational catches in the outfield. He's had a great arm out there, been able to gun down runners at the plate. Jones, who actually had to start last night in left field for Game 2 of a doubleheader for the Newport Gulls against the Manchester Silkworms, was very effective, running down a couple of deep flying balls to mix them out. I know a lot of players in this league won't be able to make. So my money's on him, but some good competition there with Ted Zantek. Zantek in that game just last night had I guess a good warm-up for this game as well. Zentek out in center field had an opportunity to run down a couple balls. And see, both the Gulls and the Silkworms were hitting him all around the ballpark last night in Newport's sweep of a doubleheader.
The reason why I would choose Peter Verdon, he's had 6 outfield assists so far for the Swampettes. The infield throw, however, will be very interesting. Look for Brandon Macias of the North Adams Steeplecats and Taylor Featherston from the New Bedford Bay Sox to be in the top of the competition. Those two guys, I will not be picking Jose Macias in that contest. He will also be featured. I think one of those two guys in the infield throw will be your number one infield thrower for the competition.
My bet for the infield throw will be a player who is not here tonight. That's David Benchart. Benchart for the Newport Gulls in the shortstop position this year has been sensational. The plays he's been making have been major league caliber. He very reminiscent of Mike Affronti, a former Newport Gull who played in this league in the 2004-2005 season. Some Lemoyne, who is now in the minor leagues himself. Almost got a Nomar-esque move after of course, the Major League shortstop Nomar Garcia Power, the way he spins with the ball, his footing when he charges a ball. That's, of course, key for the shortstop position, having the correct footing when a ball is hit your way, and then to be able to recover from that. Sometimes going the opposite way and throwing across the diamond to first base. He's been making those plays all season long. He won't be in this competition. But Greg Garcia, who's played some good defense for the Newport Gulls, is the scheduled representative for Newport in the infield throwing competition.
Some other players to note: Zach Williams from Pittsfield, Jose Macias from Keene, A.J. Rizbarski from Manchester. As we have mentioned, Greg Garcia, Taylor Featherston, and Brandon Macias. The other player to watch, the home guy, Jake Rosenbach. He's had a cannon of an arm all season.
Yeah, Jake Rosenbach, who played for the Pittsfield Dukes last season, was outstanding for them defensively. he's certainly earned a spot in the competition, and he will be one to watch along with the others for the infield throw.
We'll have the outfield throw first, however, when they get things going. Again, the competitors: 10 Zentek from Manchester, Derek Jones from Newport, Casey Lytle from Pittsfield, Brian Valencia from Danbury, and Peter Verdon from the Keene Swamp Bats. I'm sure Dan Sturdivant will take us through that at some point as we're trying to get things going here as the competitors in the competition continue to warm up on the field. Again, about 40 scouts will be here at Mackenzie Stadium throughout the day. Again, the Red Sox scout Ray Fagnan running all of these skills competitions here at Mackenzie Stadium. Quite a scout to have on hand for these players as he's in a very good organization in the major leagues.
Now, the first time that they did this fastest runner competition here in the pregame festivities for the All-Star game was in 2007 at North Adams. And Mike Berger, the Gulls runner, fared very well in the competition. Though I recall he had just eaten his lunch prior to running at the All-Star luncheon. And after running the bases, at that point they weren't running a straight 60-yard dash. They were actually running from first base to second in the first round. The next round they were running from first base all the way around to home. He was so winded, and his face was so red that he went over and he lost his lunch in the bushes of North Adams. And then, of course, he felt better afterwards and went on to play in the game that night. But it was interesting that year when they were running the bases, but I suppose that's probably even more dangerous than running in a straight line on the outfield grass, trying to run these bases and getting those turns in while putting the maximum effort possible.
It's not exactly a track-like turn around first, second, third, and home, so trying to wheel around all bases, and of course if you mess your steps up and you take it to second the wrong way, you're going to spill, and then that could be even uglier than a straight 60-yard dash. I have to agree with you there, Nick.
So it's actually kind of a good thing that the NECBL dropped that concept and went to the straight 60-yard dash. Looks like they're just about ready to go for the outfield throwing competition as some sharp-looking outfielders are staying there in right field, each with their own brand newly minted baseball.
The outfielders will throw from right field. Again, each team can enter a player. Each player will get 2 warm-up throws. The player will throw from right field. Measurement will be 250 feet from home plate. Each player will get 3 throws in the first round. The best 3 will make the finals to determine the best arm in the NECBL. As that All-Star game was in Torrington last year, Nick, when some of the players were on the field, they were trying to get some of the outfielders to not even throw it to home, but to throw it to the red brick building behind that, because some of the arms out of the NECBL All-Stars really had a chance to do that.
2 years ago, they actually had a target structure set up around home plate at the All-Star game at North Adams, and that gave them something to aim for, which made it a little bit more interesting, and it was given more points based on which target they could hit. Of course, the furthest back targets were smaller, so if they decided to throw over the easier targets, they had less of a chance of hitting them.
That sounds like a more interesting concept to do that, especially because it makes it competitive as you're trying to go for a point scale instead of just trying to hose it from right field.
All right, folks, first time through.
Looks like we're ready to go, though.
They'll be judged on their strength and accuracy to home plate by our scouts. Top 3 will move on and try to become the strongest thrower in the NECBL.
And Dan Sturdivant announcing the rules for the competition. So Zentek have an opportunity to show off his arm here.
Give it your best toss.
Zentek stands deep in right field. He'll take about 9 steps and toss a 1-hopper, 2-hopper to the plate. Good target that time for Zentek, but not exactly a bullet of a throw. Derek Jones, the Newport Gulls, steps in now. Jones steps a couple steps behind Zentek, whirls his arm, and the lefty throws an arcing throw on 1 hop into the plate. Took a high hop right at the plate. That was I guess you could say, a better throw than Zentek's.
It was a very good throw by the arm there of Derek Jones. 1 hopper to the plate, and it wasn't a 1 hopper by much. Didn't miss by much. That throw offline. Again, strength and accuracy, the ingredients here for these outfielders.
Casey Lytle is a little bit offline. is Brian Valencia. Takes a few steps and tosses a bullet to the plate. Again, offline. That was a no-hopper. Caught right on the third baseline. One of the all-star catchers present behind the plate is your man, Peter Verdon.
That was right there. And it was on the line. It wasn't a high looping throw. But imagine with that throw that Peter will advance eventually if he can get another good throw in.
So we go back to Ted Zantek from Manchester. Zantek again, a two-hopper.
That was a better throw from Zentek that was lower to the plate, and that's going to get it faster to the plate.
Yeah, it didn't take its time in getting there that time.
Jones didn't have a bad round, though, in that first offering.
Jones' second throw is pretty good, a one-hopper, but offline, though.
And the biggest thing is accuracy here. If you're trying to get out a runner from third base in this competition, that's going to score the runner.
Casey Lytle with a one-hopper to the plate, but came in a little bit slowly that time. Not a lot of power behind his arm. Brian Valencia from Danbury will throw now. From right field, here he goes, the lefties. Throw is a right to third base line, but again offline.
Notice Peter Verdon gets things going a lot farther than any competitor has in the competition thus far.
This one, he airmails it right to the backstop. A lot of power behind the arm that time, but not much accuracy.
Peter, the goal is accuracy, but he shows off his strength there with that throw. That may help him, though, in the competition, as he completely airmailed it over the catcher to the backstop.
That's today's NECBL All-Star Game and Skills Competition. It's being presented by the Holiday Inn in Hometown.
Now let's see where they go from here now.
Interstate 91. Check it out online at holidayinn.com.
As the All-Star Game set to go at 6:30 tonight. These pregame festivities will persist throughout the afternoon. We'll cover as much as we can for you here in the ACBL Broadcast Network. Now they're throwing from the 250-foot mark in right field. Now in Danbury, that's about the outfield fence.
Just about. It's a very short porch to right field. It'll make things interesting for Kevin Rivers. Some around the league thinking that the Danbury Westerners have had it an easy going with their home run total so far this year because of the way their park plays. So Peter Verdon advancing. And for the Manchester Silkworms, Ted Zentek.
Zentek from the 250-foot mark throws a right-handed toss on one hop but offline.
And once again, Peter Verdon from the Keene Swamp Bats.
Verdon has his third throw of the afternoon. He throws an arcing throw again high and brought in behind the umpire's box that time.
See who the winner is.
Bob Stumpo. See if Emmanuel's catcher bring that one in. So 4 teams have catchers behind the plate for this one. I'll wait to see who the winner is now. And Ted Zantek and Peter Verdon.
Congratulations to Peter Verdon.
It is Verdon.
The strongest outfield.
I guess I'm 1 for 1 today.
So Peter Verdon wins the second competition of the afternoon. He joins Adam Matthews on victory lane here at Holyoke. Ted Zantek, the runner-up.
Our competitors will be Zach Williams from the Pittsfield American Defender, Brendan Macias from the North Adams Steeplecats, AJ Rosbarski from the Manchester Silkworms. Thank you. And Greg Garcia from the Newport Gulls.
Well, up next, the infield throw, and Sean Medeiros has a call for this one.
So the infield throw will commence here. Zach Williams from Pittsfield, Brandon Macias from North Adams, Jake Rosenbeck from Holyoke. He'll be one to watch. Jose Macias from Keene. It'll be AJ Rosbarski from Manchester, Greg Garcia from the Newport Gulls, and Taylor Featherston from the New Bedford Bay Sox. The infield throwing competition will feature throwing from the shortstop position. Each team may enter a player if they wish. Each player will get 2 warm-up throws. The shortstop will be in the hole with their feet touching the outfield grass. The ball will be in hand, rolled by an MLB scout. Each player will have 3 throws in the first round. The best 3 will be in the finals to determine the best infield arm in the NECBL. We've already gone over some of the favorites. I guess I'm 1 for 1 today. I'm going to pick the hometown guy. I'm going to go with Jake Rosenbeck.
Yeah, Rosenbeck has the advantage, I guess, here, being in front of the home crowd. We're just starting to fill in here at McKenzie Stadium. We got a couple hundred fans in the stands in front of us, a few hundred more around the ballpark and the concession concourse, under the tents, enjoying the shade on this hot summer afternoon up at the third baseline. We could see a few thousand here before this night is over.
Nick, may I get a mulligan? Apparently Jake Rosenbeck is not throwing in the contest for a sore arm. I'll go with Brandon Macias.
Okay, Macias is your call. Well, I'll go with Greg Garcia. I guess I had to stick with the Garcias. I think Manchester and Newport fans will both be mad at me if I don't go with Greg Garcia. Of course, his brother played for the Manchester Silkworms as well. I'd rather not anger two teams. So my pick is Greg Garcia. I'll go with the safe bet.
Can't go wrong. I'm 1 for 1.
Well, they still got the markers and pylons out there from the fastest runner competition. I wonder if they have any plans to use those, maybe for the Mascot Olympics.
Maybe. It'll be an interesting sight for the Mascot Olympics. Have some players over at first to catch the baseballs from the players that are throwing from the shortstop position.
Well, knowing some of these mascots, particularly that dastardly Skip, he'll probably try and kick over all the pylons on his way down the line.
Looks like Ben Waldrop will be the first baseman to catch some baseballs at first. Corey Figueroa also over there. And for the Newport Gulls, Aaron Westlake, who's normally a third baseman, first baseman, DH kind of guy. A member of the 2018 Swamp Bats. Nick, it's good to see Aaron Westlake have a better season this year and make the All-Star team for sure.
Yeah, he's really been producing this season, particularly as of late. It's his first home run of the season at Cardines the other night. A pair of triples, a couple doubles now for Westlake as well. So he's starting to get the extra base power in the wooden bat.
That throw offline from Zach Williams as Waldrop had to go over. Actually, Corey Figueroa just looks like he's going to back up the throws from the shortstops that go to Waldrop. Macias' throw is low, and Waldrop, the first baseman, can't handle it, I'm sure. That won't help his cause. These first two are warm-up tosses for the players at shortstop. It's the Manchester fielder to throw. And that's A.J. Brzezbarski. Solid throw from Brzezbarski. Here's Nick's guy, Greg Garcia, to take the throw. And that was a good one. Right to Waldrop. Chest high. Didn't have to go anywhere to catch the baseball.
All right, attempt number 2 for all of our competitors. Zach Williams.
Zach Williams, the shortstop for the American Defenders, take a throw. That one right on the money, too. So Zach Williams and Greg Garcia looking good in this competition. Macias, the shortstop from North Adams, putting on a good throw as well. Macias has really been stellar all season for the Steeplecats. That throw sailing from A.J. Brzezbarski near the dugout, so that might not help Brzezbarski's cause. And another good throw by Greg Garcia. Nick, you may have this one right.
And he's been at second base all season. He is a natural shortstop. Newport has 4 shortstops on the roster this year. They've been playing all parts of the infield. And Tim Smalling, David Benchard, Greg Garcia. Garcia back in his normal shortstop hole here for the first time, really. I haven't seen him play shortstop yet.
Nick, you talk about not having too much pitching in baseball. I don't think managers would have or mind having 4 shortstops on their roster. Usually shortstops can play a multitude of positions in the infield. Some, not primarily all of them, can play third, but you can always see a shortstop play second and short, so that helps out a defensive alignment, especially when you have to make late substitutions.
And it's worked so far for Newport with Benchard and Jerry Bergman, Garcia, and Smalling.
So the Pittsfield thrower, Zach Williams, will make his first throw, his third throw of the competition. And that pulls Waldrop off the bag just a tad. So Brandon Macias from North Adams, his throw is right there to the first baseman, Waldrop.
A delay. He's got a double clutch on his throw. That's the second time he's done that.
Certainly gets it over to first base in a hurry, though, does Macias. So Williams and Macias in the competition. That throw right there. So Macias with the last throw. And that one was low, but handled by Waldrop. We'll see who the winner is. So I had my guy in the final round. Greg Garcia somehow not getting in the final round, although he looked really good in the competition.
Maybe he didn't have the velocity. He had the accuracy, that's for sure. I seen Ruspansky head back to the dugout. Garcia has his hat off and is asking questions from the covering first baseman. He gets a pound from him.
See who the winner is. Dan Sturdivant, the voice of the Holyoke Blue Sox, will mention over the PA who gets it. It was between Zach Williams of Pittsfield and Brandon Macias of North Adams, both Western Division All-Star competitors.
Congratulations goes to Brandon Macias.
Well, Nick, I'm 2 for 2. Brandon Macias will get the nod as the winner in the infield throw. So we'll go over things again as Adam Matthews was picked in the 60-yard dash. I don't think we claimed a winner in that one, did we?
No, I don't believe we did.
Peter Verdon will take the outfield competition, and in the infield it is Brandon Macias from North Adams. Macias has been putting on a show all season for the Steeplecats defensively, especially against the Keene Swamp Bats. The North Adams Steeplecats have a 3-1 advantage in that series. Macias has been a menace at the plate and in the field. He's made a ton of plays against the Keene Swamp Bats. Now it'll be the catcher throw, as the competitors will be Ian Tompkins from Newport, Kevin David from New Bedford, Robert Stumpo from Sanford, Mike Borden from Manchester, Jason Hernandez from Vermont, Corey Davison from Pittsfield, and Zach Wright from Holyoke. Nick will have this competition for you.
Bob Stumpo, late addition, and get the first opportunity here to throw. Stumpo stands in the catcher's box behind home plate, comes down to the crouch, and he'll take a throw from a mock pitcher, then have to relay that down to second base. We've got a Keene Swamp Bat down at second to recover the ball. Here it is. A little bit high, but on target, right above the second base.
Even though advised not to take Jason Hernandez by Kyle Duro of the Vermont Mountaineers, as he said he thinks the Scouts have been taking the bigger players in each competition. I'm going to go with the Mountaineer and go with Jason Hernandez, who has been tremendous behind the plate throwing out runners this season.
Another one from Stumpo. A little bit low that time, but a good pick. Now from the Manchester Silkworms, Mike Borden. Throws a bullet right on target. Oh, that would have been an out on just about any steal attempter in this league. You'll get a couple more opportunities here. Here he goes. That one didn't have the velocity of the first throw did, but still had the accuracy right on target at the second base bag. His throw to second is high, and that one's going to be brought down, and that was not as good as his first two, but 2 out of 3 isn't bad for Mike Borden.
Jason Hernandez, 12 of 18 throwing out runners this season.
Hernandez has a low crouch. He's ready, and now he drops the ball. Oh, that's not going to be good for Hernandez.
We won't count that one. Still 3 tries.
So that one doesn't count, as Dan Sturdivant makes us well known of that fact.
Oh, he's got some power in that arm. What a velocity from Hernandez. That's the best one we've seen so far.
And I got advised not to take this catcher.
Oh, there's the second one. Swoop tag put down by covering North Adams Steeplecat. Next one for Hernandez. Thrown in as well. So 3 good ones, solid from Hernandez. As Brandon Macias moves off. I have an American defender to an American defender here. Brandon Macias at the plate.
Corey Davison's stolen base percentage of .571 this season off of him behind the plate. Has only had 1 pass ball, though. A very good defensive catcher for the Pittsfield American defenders.
Davison. Another throw to Macias. That's just off his glove. I wouldn't fault Davison with that one. I think that was off the glove of Macias. Probably was trying to swoop the tag too soon, unnecessarily. Now hometown Blue Sox, so that's the one hopping into the outfield. First throw overthrown by Zach Wright. His next one, also one hopping into the outfield. So
.780 stealing percentage for opponents against the catcher from Holyoke this season.
His first 2 aren't so good. He tries to redeem himself, and he does. His third one's right on target. Let's see who's left. Kevin David is yet to throw.
Kevin David of the New Bedford Bay Sox taking over for Dan Corey, who was a temp player. David coming from Oklahoma State. Dan Corey, after leaving the New Bedford Bay Sox after not getting playing time, eventually signed by the Atlanta Braves organization to play minor league baseball. So Kevin David, a really good catcher hitting-wise. Like to see what he can do behind the plate. Didn't really get a sample of when the Keene Swamp Bats played the cross-division team in the Eastern Division.
All right, it's between Borden and Hernandez. Mike Borden from the Manchester Silkworms represents the East Division. Comes down to the crouch, awaits the throw. Here it comes. Is throw down to second. A little bit high, but brought down. Still had the velocity that time that we saw him in the first round. His next opportunity, here it is. Another bullet. A little bit high and away, but again brought down. That could have been an easy out.
Off of Borden this year, .657 stealing percentage.
Jason Hernandez here. From the low crowd, throws to first. One hopper. Still had the accuracy and got there very quickly. Get one more shot now. The pitch, the throw. Beautiful. Well, that's going to be close now between Borden and Hernandez. Will it be the East or will it be the West?
I'd like to go 3 for 3.
Don't let Vegas know about your odds.
And the winner by unanimous decision from the Vermont Mountaineers, Jason Hernandez.
Can I get Kyle Doro into the broadcast booth? Because I was advised not to pick his own player, and then he wins.
Kyle Doro.
Kyle, please explain.
All right, for the record, Jason Hernandez is my boy. Let me just say that. First of all, congratulations to him for winning. Unfortunately, Jason Hernandez no longer with the Vermont Mountaineers due to some summer classes he has to take down at Rutgers. But we saw all season long the impressive arm that he has. I know Keene certainly knows about it, as well as Pittsfield, as well as every other team in the Western Division. The reason I didn't choose Jason Hernandez was based on, a lot of these scouts just love size, and he's one of those guys that's, he's not the biggest guy on the field. He was probably the smallest. He was definitely the smallest.
I would agree with that.
And, that's one of those things that unfortunately scouts tend to discriminate against. But I'm so glad Jason proved me wrong, and congratulations to him.
Well, I think the scouts saw what was actually being transpired on the field and not just the build of the catchers, and that was the difference.
And that's something great to see, and that's what this kind of a day is for, and that's why this is great that the league is instituting this kind of skills competition into the All-Star game. This is something that has evolved over the course of seasons. It was 2007 in North Adams where the throwing competitions were first implemented.
And they have evolved since then in that first competition. I remember they had to run the bases, and that was a lot more dangerous than this straight 60-yard dash.
Certainly was, and we had the accuracy competition, which actually had targets where
that was nice,
you earn point values, and it's a little less subjective, and that's why I kind of like this home run derby that's coming up, because there is no subjectivity. Whoever hits them more over the wall is the winner, no scout decision.
Kyle, any player you'd think would win this competition? It's kind of tough to tell at McKenzie Stadium. If we were maybe in Keene, it could be a totally different story.
Boy, I'm going to be a villain to the Vermont fan base the next time I go back on the air. I hate to go against Clay Jones, but Paul Hoylman just seems to me like the kind of player who's built for this sort of thing. And Hoylman, he's a league leader in home runs. He plays in a park that doesn't yield very many at Joe Wolf Field in North Adams with the swirling winds coming down the mountains. I got to go with Paul Hoylman in this one.
I think I'd have to agree with Kyle on that one. Paul Hoylman would definitely seem to be the favorite, leading the league in home runs with 8. Earlier today, Kyle, you were talking to me about Clay Jones getting some tips from teammate Austin Evans about the home run derby.
Yeah, Austin Evans in the parking lot when Vermont was ready to head down here to Holyoke for the All-Star game. Austin Evans, the pitcher from the University of Alabama, a teammate of Clay Jones, was giving him some pointers about the importance of leaning back in his swing to the point of over-exaggeration, and that should certainly be a interesting thing to see if Clay Jones May takes his advice and really rears back and fires some majestic bombs. We'll see.
It'll be interesting to see if Murray Watts from the Blue Sox can do well. The throwing coach, J.C. Fernandez, throws a very good BP session. That's been well known around the league. Kevin Watterson of the Keene Swamp Bats actually said, out of all the BPs he's seen thrown, J.C. Fernandez from the Blue Sox throws one of the best ones he's ever seen.
In terms of a best pitcher for this kind of event, boy, you got to go back to Al Leyva a couple of years ago. He has pitched to 2 separate home run derby winners in this event since the NECBL started doing a home run derby at the All-Star game. So it's a pretty interesting thing to note. And, you know, if you're looking for a dark horse in this event, I got a great tip from Jeremy Kreisberg of the North Shore Navigators. He said Chris Kowalski, that's their closer. They're sending their closer in, who's the best BP hitter on the team, to try and knock him out here at expansive Mackenzie Stadium.
Well, when we were at the Basketball Hall of Fame, a BC athlete, he was also self-dunking it to himself, alley-ooping and trying to dunk at the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield. So a natural athlete is Chris Kowalski. It'll be interesting to see who takes this one, but thank you, Kyle, for coming in and letting us know about Jason Hernandez. So hopefully the Vermont fan base won't be too mad with Kyle by the end of the day here at Mackenzie Stadium.
So getting set to take his BP tosses is from the Sanford Mainers, Dylan Pratt. Pratt walking up here, representing the Eastern Division here in this home run derby. Dylan on the season. It's one homer. Led the Sanford Mainers with 20 runs batted in here at the All-Star break. From the North Adams Steeplecats, holding a bat high in his hand, also walking around the plate area. Paul Hoylman down there. Hoylman has had some pop in his bat lately. Jacob Rogers, Braden Garcia from New Bedford, Cal Felix of Lowell. There's some big names here in the NECBL getting set to take part in this home run derby as the outfielders now dot the outfield. The center field wide open here. I don't think you're going to see too many players try to hit a ball to straightaway center where it's 377.
The dimensions 327 down the lines, 377 to dense center field. That'd be a shot in this home run derby for competitors to hit it to dead center field. Again, we'll go over the competitors. Dylan Pratt from Sanford, Maury Watts from the home Holyoke Blue Sox, Derek Jones from Nick Lima's Newport Gulls. I think I'm going to say that all day today because Nick Lima, also an all-star from the Newport Gulls. Brandon Newton, Pittsfield American Defenders. Aaron Westlake, Newport Gulls. I am glad to see him in this competition. Aaron, a very nice kid, played with the Swamp Bats last year. Didn't really have as good of a season as he wanted to in his first year in the NECBL, but has certainly turned things around for the Newport Gulls this year. Paul Hoylman, who will be Kyle Doro's favorite, and I think I'm going to have to agree with that. Paul Hoylman, I'll go with him. Chris Kowalski from North Shore, Clay Jones from Vermont, Ryan Wilkins from Manchester, Kevin Rivers from Danbury, Kyle Felix from Lowell, Jake Rogers from the Keene Swamp Bats, and Brandon Garcia from New Bedford.
J.C. Fernandez will be throwing BP down here to these players, trying to hit them out. So home run derby gets underway. They have to hit them over the wall to count as a home run. Despite the long distance down the lines, 327 down left and right, and 377. It's actually a little bit more than that to center field here. I think that distance mark is a little bit off. I remember being 406 back in the day. They might have changed that.
So the way this will work, fans at home, Nick, being the Eastern Division All-Star representative, will get his division to call. I will get the Western Division.
So Dylan Pratt stands in, getting set to take his hacks. Pratt from the right side adjusts the batting gloves as he gets set to lead off this home run derby. And Pratt on the season, a homer and 20 runs batted in. Can he hit it out here in the thick, humid air of Holyoke, Massachusetts? We're not very high here in the mountains. Berkshire's off to our west. There's New Hampshire, Vermont to our north here, just the foothills around Holyoke. Standing in, Dylan Pratt. So we'll wait the catcher to take his position behind home plate.
All right, folks, let's hear it for Dylan Pratt from the Sanford Mainers.
Pratt to step in, he digs in from the right side, and we'll get set to begin this home run derby. First pitch to him, taken inside.
Patience is a virtue.
Next one, taken as well. Pratt will take 3 straight. They coming at him at a torrent pace. This one's ripped down the right field line. That's going to drop in about 100 feet shy of the wall. The next one to Pratt. Inside.
1 out, no homers for Pratt.
This one is also
Base hit
blooped
puts it
in.
out here in home run derby, 2 down.
That's his second out. So we get one more opportunity here to try and hit one out in this round. It's inside. It takes a 5th pitch. Inside as well, waiting for one that he can crush. This one is hit high and deep.
Under this one doesn't have enough.
And it's going to drop in right center field.
3 outs.
Not
No
enough
homers.
for Dylan Pratt. That's his 3rd out. He'll get a couple more opportunities here. Takes another pitch. He swings and hits a line shot, but it bloops in.
Out number 3. He's got 2 more outs to go. I can't count.
This
That's
is a
out
good
number 4.
BP round
One more
for
to go, Dylan.
Dylan Pratt, however.
And he's been rocketing a couple balls. Hit one very high in the air. Takes another pitch inside. This one is popped up, straight up. That'd be an out.
All right, folks, let's hear it for Dylan Pratt.
Drops right in the edge of the outfield grass, and that's out number 5 for him. Looks like we get the Newport Gull coming up next.
From the Newport Gulls,
Derek Jones. Now, it was a surprise to some of the Gulls organization that Troy Scott wasn't also selected as either an all-star or a home run derby participant. Troy Scott himself having 5 on the season, but Jones, who has 5, 16 RBI, stands in from the left side. So a righty-lefty matchup here. Let's see how he fares. First one is ripped but foul.
Hit well, but just an out.
That's the first out. Jones a tap on the plate, wearing no batting helmet. Takes that one outside. First pitch he's taken so far. The next one to him is swung on and ripped down the right field line, but it doesn't have the distance. It bounces on the warning track.
Farthest shot hit by any competitor so far. One hopper off the warning track.
A little more power, that would have been out as he takes another pitch outside. So 2 outs now for Jones. Takes another pitch. Derek Jones waiting for one he can hammer. This one is hit deep to right. Way back it goes. And this one will be gone. It's the first one. Derek Jones is the first batter to hit one out.
Sorry, Derek.
Oh,
It is out number 3.
that was not it? It was not out? All right, hit the wall. Well, that was just out of my view over here to the right. So Derek Jones, out number 3 now. Oh, he missed the first one of the contest by just a few feet. Can he hit it back to that same spot? As he fouls one back. That's out 4. He's got one chance left here in round number 1. Derek Jones trying to be the first one to hit one out here at McKenzie Stadium.
All right, 4 outs. Let's go, Derek.
He's going to take a couple more pitchers.
Being selective at the plate.
He likes this one. It hits a line drive down the right field line, but it's hooking foul. And that's going to be out number 5 for Derek Jones.
Folks, let's hear it for Derek
He had
Jones.
2 good swings in that round, Nick, but just couldn't turn that one straight down the right field line in fair territory. The second round, I would expect a better BP round from him. He might get one out.
Yeah, the first one off the warning track, the next one off the wall, but that's as much as he can do. And now to the American Defenders.
So it'll be Brandon Newton from the Pittsfield American Defenders, left-handed hitter, to stand in as J.C. Hernandez will throw the first pitch to Newton. Newton going to be patient at the plate. He's taken 2 already, sizing up the throws. That's probably a single in a normal game past the second baseman, but that's an out here. That's foul, so 2 outs now for Newton. Swings at that one deep to right field, but a shallow fly ball. It's out number 3 for Newton. Hasn't hit the ball far yet. That's a weak fly ball to left field. That's out number 4 for Newton. He's got 1 left. That's ripped to right field, a base knock, but doesn't count here. 5 outs very quickly for Brandon Newton.
He wasn't too patient at the plate, was he?
No, he took the first 2 pitches and then decided to hack. So Aaron Westlake will now step up, the Newport Gull.
Aaron Westlake, who has a homer in the season, came at Cardene's Field, crushed over the 30-foot fence there. Can he go the distance here at McKenzie Stadium, a fence about 15 feet high all the way around?
I think if Aaron Westlake can really get his timing in this round, I wouldn't be surprised if he does some damage.
Patient, he takes the first one. Takes another one as well. Patience is a virtue for Westlake. He has very good eye. The next one is inside as well. He has one of the fewest strikeouts per at-bats in the league as he hits a lazy fly ball to straightaway right center. To run down out there for out one on Westlake. His next one is swung on and drilled down the right field line, but that's going to drop in for out number 2. The pitch. Takes another one. Here it is. Swung on and drilled down to right center. That will be caught about 5 feet in front of the warning track. 3 down for Westlake, 2 outs to go. Westlake also opting to go without the batting helmet, no hat, as he rips this one to deep right center. And it is gone. That's the first one hit out of the competition. Aaron Westlake hits one out, and they'll take the lead. This one is hit deep to right field, but not deep enough. Looks like it's going to be caught on the warning track. That's out 4 for Westlake, so he leads with 1. He has another opportunity right here. The pitch. Takes one. He'll be patient as he pinwheels the bat. One more is taken inside. Aaron Westlake trying to hit one more out, and he hits this one to deep right field. Going back is the right fielder at the warning track. He leaps, and it's off the wall. Oh, he missed a home run by about 5 feet. But Westlake heads back to the dugout with 1.
One could do it here. You never know. It'll be Paul Hoylman, who has been selected as the hands-on favorite in the press box, at least for the most part. Paul Hoylman leading the league in home runs with 8 deep flies. Will stand in. Westlake from the Newport Gulls has cracked the first home run in the home run derby. Westlake with 1. The rest of the competitors with 0. Paul Hoylman will stand in. A right-handed batter for the Steeple Cats.
It's like Jeremiah Valenzuela is pitching now.
See how Hoylman approaches this home run derby. Not swinging yet, just waiting for a pitch. First pitch is hit to left field. That is deep, but it is in the ballpark. That's 1 out.
5 feet in front of the warning track.
Hoylman swings. That's a lazy fly ball out to left field, and that's out number 2. Hoylman, consistent though, however. Takes that pitch inside. Didn't like what he saw. Swung on, hit deep to left field. Doesn't have enough legs, and it will stay in the ballpark right in front of the warning track. 3 outs now for Hoylman. That one's low. He won't feast at that one. Swung on deep to left center field, but I think that one's going to fall out there and land in. It's out number 4 for Hoylman. He's got 1 out remaining. No homers for Hoylman. Westlake with 1. That's a fly ball down the left field line that will stay in the ballpark, and Hoylman's first round is done. No homers for the crowd favorite here of the North Adams Steeple Cats.
Now up from the North Shore Navigators,
the dark horse in the competition, Chris Kowalski, the closer for the North Shore Navigators and a BC athlete, will stand in.
Kowalski from the right side. Like many of the players in this competition, no batting helmet, no hat at all. First one, taken inside. He hasn't seen many pitches this season other than taking some occasional pitcher's BP. He'll take the third pitch inside high as well. He has a tall stature at the plate. He swings with this fourth pitch and hits a deep drive to left center, but not deep enough. Hit to one of the deepest parts of this ballpark in the power alley. Takes another one inside to first out for Kowalski, who fouls this one back. It's going to drop right on the plate. Look out. Lands about 5 feet in front of him. 2 down, 3 to go for Christopher. That one comes inside and hits him.
You know whose plate it is.
First base for Kowalski from North Shore. Next one is a little bit low. Now he's being patient. Give him that. He takes another one inside. It's a grounder up the shortstop hole.
Number 3.
That's 3 outs now for Kowalski. This one popped up. Third base side.
4 down.
Not very deep. It's going to land near the bullpen. 4 outs to Kowalski, who hits a long drive to deep left. Way back it goes, and it is gone! He was heading back to the dugout. He didn't even see it leave the ballpark. He thought that was going to drop in, but it just came over off the wall, so Kowalski ties with Westlake. The NECBL East, the only one to hit a home run out so far. He swings and hits another drive, popped up to deep left center.
No, but let's hear it.
And this one will drop in. But Kowalski becomes the second contestant to hit one out. So he took BP.
Now batting for the Vermont Mountaineers, Clay Jones.
Now Clay Jones will bat for Vermont.
Ryan Wilkins, you'll be next.
So Clay Jones will stand in. Takes the first pitch. Clay Jones getting tips from teammate Austin Evans to stay back in the home run derby. He pops that one up in the infield, 1 out. That's driven to center field, and that's not going to be out in Mackenzie Stadium.
Out number 2.
Out number 2. Swung on, hit to left field, may it have enough. It's deep to left field, and it is gone. It's a home run for Clay Jones as it just gets near the scoreboard and over the double fence, over the Gillette sign, deep to left field. That is back. It looks good enough, but it will die out there. 1 home run for Clay Jones so far. He got it early. That could help. So Jones taking the tips from Austin, working so far. That one deep to left center field. That probably doesn't have enough on it. Ranging over there, Patrick Brady in the outfield for the North Shore Navigators. Swung on and a line drive to left center. That'll stay in the ballpark. That'll take a couple of bounces in front of the warning track. So we've had 3 home runs in the home run derby so far. Aaron Westlake, Chris Kowalski, and Clay Jones.
Now the Manchester Silkworms with their contestant in here. Ryan Wilkins, the bat now. Wilkins kicks some dirt off. Get some help here from a fellow Silkworm. Takes a couple pitches inside.
Heads up. Out number 1.
He fouls one back, takes another one inside. Is that Mike Borden throwing him BP? I think it is. Borden is throwing the BP for this Silkworm. So Ryan Wilkins stands in. His teammate tosses another one inside. Oh, breaking balls from Borden here. There's one to hit deep to left. Way back this one goes, but it's going to be caught on the warning track.
Out number 2.
2 down for Wilkins. This one's popped up. Left side, bullpen area.
3 outs.
Gonna land in fair territory, not very deep. 3 down now, as he takes a slider outside that time from Borden. What is Borden throwing here? Not fastballs.
Certainly not with straight movement over the plate.
He's throwing up some breaking pitches to his teammate. This one's hit on the ground towards the left side.
4 outs.
Get a little bit over it.
Let's hear it for Ryan Wilkins, folks. Let's get behind him now.
4 down for Wilkins. There's the Manchester Silkworm fans on hand here today. He taps the plate, looks out on his teammate Borden. He's got 1 out to go. The pitch. Inside he takes one. Takes another one low. Looking for a pitch he can crush. Another one is inside tight. Borden waiting a good pitch from. This one's hit into center field. It's going to drop in. Just past the second base bag. That's out number 5 for Ryan Wilkins. So it's still Westlake, Kowalski, and Jones. Your leading 3 is the Danbury Westerners with their first chance.
Kevin Rivers, 4 homers on the season for the Danbury Westerners. Some see those home runs as questionable, however, with the short porch in right field in Rogers Park. Hopefully, for Kevin Rivers' sake, he can prove those naysayers wrong with a good showing here in the home run derby. Again, Rivers, 4 home runs on the season. Wears number 25. He is a left-handed hitter. He'll get the BP from J.C. Hernandez. So Rivers, a tall left-handed bat, will take the first pitch in this home run derby. Swings at the second offering, and it's a pop-up into shallow left field. 1 out. Swung on to center field. That's in no man's land in Mackenzie Stadium. 2 away. Rivers not really being patient at the plate. Swings at another one, pops it up. 3 outs. Now he decides to settle in. Rivers will take back-to-back pitches. Swings at that one, pops it up. That one would be playable for the catcher behind the backstop. 4 outs for Rivers. Down to his final out, he lifts it to left field, but that's going to be still in the ballpark as Patrick Brady will go out and gather that one. So a very quick round for Kevin Rivers and an over at the plate in the home run department.
I'll bring Kyle Felix to the plate. Felix will bat from the left side from the Lowell All-Americans. Felix try to join the 3. That'll make it to round 2 at least. Takes the first pitch. Takes another one outside. Felix, one of 3 All-Stars from Lowell, making the trip here today. This one's turned on but hit on the ground towards the right side. Felix with a homer and 14 RBI in the season. Makes one a little bit high. Swings on this one, a rocket but foul towards the Eastern Division bullpen. He's down with 2 outs now. Turns on this one, hits a ground up the third base line. Hasn't got one really in the air yet, out of the infield. Takes another pitch. Pitch is rocketed. That's in the air down the right field line.
Just foul, 4 down.
Foul into the bullpen. Missed a home run maybe about 30 feet down there. This one's hit deep to right. Way back it goes. And you can watch it drop just in front of the warning track.
Let's hear it.
That's number 5 for Kyle Felix, who misses a home run by just a few feet and leaves a 0. Like many of the men in this competition so far, as Jake Rogers steps up.
Not a bad round for Kyle Felix. It's interesting to see head coach Marty Testo throw to Jake Rogers. Was wondering if it was going to be Chris Johns or Marty Testo. So Testo will get the nod for Jake Rogers, the left-handed hitter who has 6 home runs on the season. In a Keene Swamp Bats uniform. He'll stand in from the left-handed side. Rogers does not wear the batting gloves. No helmet for Jake. Rogers will stand in. Marty Testo throwing beeps to him. See how Rogers fares for the Swamp Bats. Takes the first one. Take the second one from Testo. And the third one, Rogers being rather selective. I think he wants to win this thing. Take home another skills competition for the Keene Swamp Bats. Deep to right field, doesn't have enough. And it is gone. Jake Rogers with a home run on his first swing. So 1 for Rogers. He's tied it up now between 4 players. Westlake, Kowalski, and Jones.
Well, now as he fouls one back, well, that patience paying off.
Rogers coming into this one wanting to win it. He's been the most selective hitter at the plate thus far. Deep to right field. That has legs to the right field wall, and it is gone. 2 home runs for Jake Rogers. Takes that one high and away. Rogers out in the lead with 2 home runs now. That's a line shot down the right field line that'll stay in the ballpark. Rogers taking there. He's got 2 homers. Fouled away, Rogers.
Apologies, folks. That makes 3 outs.
4 outs for Jake at the plate. He's got 2 home runs. He's in the lead now among Westlake, Kowalski, and Jones, who have a solo home run each. Now Rogers really being patient, wants to get out ahead with 3. Rogers still taking pitchers from Testo. Swings in a line drive through the first base, second base hole. He's got 4 outs, now 4 outs. So Rogers will take that one. Being very selective. Now he's ready to go. Swinging a foul pop-up out of play, but Rogers has the best round out of any home run derby contestant so far to the plate. Rogers hits 2 to right field, and he leads the contest. Brandon Garcia from the Eastern Division, New Bedford Bay Sox, will now stand in.
Garcia. Brandon Garcia. The frizzled hair, no hat, no helmet, stands in from the left side. Kicks some dirt out of the batter's box. He'll take his hacks here as we get towards the conclusion of round number 1. A pitch taken. We'll have 5 outs to work with in this home run derby. Round 1 nearly completed. Still is yet to take one yet.
Garcia leading the Bay Sox in home runs with 2 on the season.
And he grips one down the right field line, but it's going to hook.
Off
Foul.
the base of the wall, 1 out.
off the wall. That's the first out for Brandon Garcia as he grounds one towards the goal line marker from the running contest. 2 down now for Garcia, who continues to take pitches and hits another one just out towards the same spot. 3 down now for Brandon. Takes another pitch. Here comes another one. Well, he's getting a couple opportunities here and hits another ground ball to the right side. Foul.
4 outs.
And he's got 1 chance left. Ground ball, and that's going to do it for Garcia. And looks like that will do it for us here in round 1.
Garcia.
So after 1 round, your leaders, Jake Rogers with 2.
From the Holyoke Blue Sox, Murray Watts.
With Corey Watts still to go here. Watts, late addition to the home run derby.
First one from Murray Watts to right field, but that's not going to be out. That's a shot to right field. That should be well out of Mackenzie Stadium, and it is. It's a homer for Murray Watts. Watts hits that one to right field. It has height, but it doesn't have enough. It is gone. 2 home runs for Murray Watts. That one gets out of Mackenzie Stadium. That's to right field, but that's too high. That'll loop into the glove of the outfielder Valenzuela. 2 home runs for Murray Watts to tie him with Jake Rogers. Swung on deep to right field, but that will stay in Mackenzie Stadium off the warning track.
3 down.
3 outs for Watts. Watts taking the final round in the home run derby, seeing as he is with the Holyoke Blue Sox. Deep to right center field, that'll stay in Mackenzie Stadium. Deepest part of the ballpark, 377. Swung on and a line shot down the right field line. That's 5 outs for Murray Watts, but he has tied things up with Jake Rogers. He has 2 home runs, so Rogers with 2, Watts with 2. Clay Jones from Vermont with 1, Chris Kowalski from North Shore with 1, and Aaron Westlake with 1. So Jake Rogers and Murray Watts, both of the Western Division, will go further into this contest. Murray Watts put on an impressive show in the first round. Jacob Rogers did as well, 2 home runs apiece. 7 home runs total hit out in the home run derby so far. We'll see what Jake Rogers and Murray Watts have to offer here in the second round, the championship round of the home run derby. So Rogers with 6 home runs on the season for the Keene Swamp Bats will stand in first. Marty Testo throwing. BP, the home team here at Mackenzie Stadium, represented by Murray Watts, the Holyoke Blue Sox, holding all the festivities for the 2009 NECBL All-Star Game, will bat second in the contest. Marty Testo again throwing to Jake Rogers, who, Nick, took a good approach in the first round, was very, very patient at the plate, and it paid off with those 2 home runs.
Yeah, his selection, particularly early on, he waited till he saw one pitch he knew he could hammer out, and once he got that one under his belt, and he felt more free with his next few swings.
Rogers has taken the first 3 at the plate, swings and drives to right field, but it's hooking foul and out of play. 1 out for Jake Rogers at the plate. Rogers and Testo crossed up. Rogers will take the first one. After that, out to right field. Rogers swung on and drilled to right field, but that one is foul. 2 outs.
2 outs.
That actually stayed fair down the right field line. It's a home run for Jake Rogers. There was some confusion. So, a home run for Jake Rogers. It's tough to see down the right field line as there are trees in front of the foul pole down the right field line, and the press box line down the right field line, the first base line. Rogers being selective. He has 1 homer and 1 out at the plate. No surprise to see a left-handed matchup in the home run derby. Drilled to right field. That's got height, but it continues to hook foul and out of play. Again, no surprise to see left-handers in the final round for the championship here. Rogers being selective. He has 2 outs. He does have a homer, though, putting some pressure on Murray Watts. That's a Fly ball to center field. That'll stay in the ballpark. Out number 3 for Jake Rogers at the plate.
Rogers has 1 homer and 3 outs.
Rogers with 1 home run in the championship round. The pitch is taken low. Rogers again being selective. Taking a couple of pitchers is Rogers, waiting for the right one. He'll hack at that. It's drilled to right field. Doesn't have enough. And it is gone. A home run for Jake Rogers. That's number 2. 2 homers now for Jake at the plate. That's a grounder down the first base line. Rogers was well ahead of that.
Number 4. 1 more out to go, Jake.
Out number 4 for Rogers. Could be getting tired as he'll stretch outside the left-handed batter's box. He's hit 4 home runs total in between both rounds. Down to his last out is Rogers. He'll be very selective. Takes that one, was gearing up for it, but decided not to hack. About the same spot on that pitch, so Rogers just waiting for one middle in. Still taking at the plate. He wants a juicy one. That's foul tipped in. That'll end the round for Jake Rogers. But he hit 4 home runs total in the competition.
Now it'll be Murray Watts stepping in. Watts, the Blue Sox, for the hometown team here in the All-Star game.
Murray Watts will stand in. Rogers with 4 total in 2 rounds. Let's see what number 31 has to offer at the plate. JC Hernandez will be throwing the BP round to Murray Watts as he finally stands in. That's a liner down the right field line, and that's 1 out for Murray Watts. Deep to right field, and it has a chance. Is it gone? Yes, it is. A home run for Murray Watts. Popped up. Out number 2. Murray Watts with 3 now. He's got 3 more outs to work with. Murray Watts taking that one. Back to the track, to the wall, and is gone. A home run for Murray Watts as it stayed fair. They are calling it foul now. It's tough to see down the right field line. Down the right field line, that one's out of play, but it's an out in the home run derby.
4 outs, 1 homer for Murray Watts.
1 homer for Murray Watts. Down to his last out. He'll be very selective. Watts pops that up, and that'll do it for the home run derby. Jake Rogers winning the home run derby with 4 home runs.
Rogers from the Keene Swamp Back.
Rogers 4 to Watts 3 in the contest. Westlake, Kowalski, and Jones, your runners-up, as they each had 1 home run in the first round. Jake Rogers from the Keene Swamp Bats takes the victory here.
I think I'll have to lie to Jake on the next home game and say I took him in the home run derby. Paul Hoylman did not hit a home run. Jake Rogers winning the home run derby. The Swamp Bats winning 2 of the competitions today.
So the photos are taken between Rogers and Watts, the winner and runner-up of this home run derby. And that's going to do it for us here in the skills competitions and home run derby portion of our All-Star afternoon. You're watching and listening to coverage of the 2009 NECBL All-Star Game here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Stay tuned. We still have a lot more still to come. We'll be back here in just a few minutes with some exclusive interviews with special guests here at the ballpark, league officials, team officials, and many more VIPs. Our coverage of the 2009 NECBL All-Star Game here at McKenzie Stadium in Holyoke, Massachusetts will continue in a few moments here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Don't go away. Still lots more to come. Enjoy a little bit of music here in the interim as we'll step away, take a break, catch our breath for a few minutes as the skills competitions and home run derby have been wrapped up so far. To recap, Adam Matthews took the first skill competition in the 60-yard dash. A 6.72 ran by Matthews in the second round. Peter Verdon took the win in the outfield arm competition. Ted Zantek, the runner-up. There is Brandon Macias, the winner in the infield competition. And Jason Hernandez had the best arm from catching to second base. The winner of your home run derby for the 2009 NECBL All-Star Game at Mackenzie Stadium is Jake Rogers of the Keene Swamp Bats, who hits 4 home runs, 2 in each round. The runner-up was Murray Watts, 2 home runs in round 1 and 1 in round 2. That's going to do it for us for the time being here from Mackenzie Stadium in Holyoke, Massachusetts. We'll step away for a few moments here in the ACBL Broadcast Network, catch our breath, and when we come back, we'll have a lot more exclusive coverage of the 2009 16th Annual NECBL All-Star Game at Mackenzie Stadium in Holyoke, Massachusetts. You're watching and listening to the All-Star coverage here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back here to Mackenzie Stadium as our coverage of the 2009 NECBL All-Star Game continues. Nick Lehman now joined by the Commissioner of the New England Collegiate Baseball League, Mario Tiani. Mr. Commissioner, thanks for joining us.
Nice to be here again.
Beautiful afternoon for baseball after what's been a rainy season here in the NECBL so far. Probably a record for rainouts.
It's been the worst in 15, 16 years now that I've seen in the league. It's been difficult, but so far we've been able to reschedule everything, and hopefully if Mother Nature helps us out a little bit, we'll be okay, Nick.
There was a threat of rain in the area this morning, and that rain date was available for tomorrow, but under sunny skies now, some light puffy clouds. It's a beautiful afternoon, a little bit hot, but hey, we'll take it here in the month of July.
Well, we've been blessed 16 years in a row. We haven't had a rain out on the All-Star Game, and it was a little shaky this time around, but it's turned out well, so we're happy about that.
Going back to the last 6 seasons, the Southern Division, now of course the Eastern Division, has had the advantage over the NECBL, formerly the North, now the West, 4 games to 2.
Well, yeah, but now it's different divisions, so it's even again. So I guess we start all over again. So we'll see. I just hope it's a good game today. I think it will be. These players on both squads deserve to be here, and they're going to go out there and do their best, I'm sure.
As we saw last year, again this season, more changes in the NECBL as the New Bedford Bay Sox moved to the Whaling City formerly from Torrington, Connecticut. That's a major change here in the NECBL because it realigned the entire division, the entire setup here in the NECBL. The Eastern and Western alignment certainly made Newport's job a lot easier traveling to Lowell and North Shore, and it really mixed things up here in the NECBL.
Yeah, it's been a good thing for a lot of teams. It's shortened up the travel, especially with the gas prices. The bus rates keep on rising and everything else. So it's worked out well so far. Once again, I mean, unfortunately, we've had so many rainouts that a lot of trips back and forth for no ball game. But, you know, we'll get through and have another successful playoff and champion in the NECBL.
There are going to be some tough stretches of baseball coming up the next 2 weeks for many of these teams. Are playing doubleheaders and back-to-back days. Some cases 4 doubleheaders inside of a 7-day period.
Yeah, well, one of the good things about this is that we decided at the beginning of the year, before we even started the season, to increase the rosters to 28, which is a good thing because hopefully, the general managers decided to stack up a little bit more on the pitching side. Nick, I was a general manager for 10 years, and I used to stack up on pitching when we were a 25-man roster. I'd probably have about 14 or 15 pitchers on my squad this year, and I'd be okay. Yeah.
These teams are going to need them in the weeks to come as the Newport Gulls have opened up a 4-game lead over the North Shore Navigators in the NECBL East. But the NECBL West, a very close race right now between the top 3 or 4 teams.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an exciting finish from my standpoint. I hope I don't see another 3-way play-in for the last playoff spot again like we did 2 years ago. That's a little difficult to do when it happens. You have to have a quick rescheduling of 3 teams playing in a 3-way robin tournament to decide who the 4th playoff. But you're right, it's going to be a close race in that division, and the Gulls have opened up a little room there in theirs. So.
Finally, Mr. Commissioner, we just saw the skills contest wrap up here a little while ago. We've seen those evolve since they got their start in North Adams a couple years ago. Didn't have the targets for the throwing competition, so players more had to rely on a real game situation and throwing down to the plate. And instead of running around the bases, a straight 60-yard dash, probably safer for the players as well.
Well, one of the things when we started this 3 seasons ago, Major League Baseball and the scouts that attended that game, they really liked the concept. So what has happened is we've tried to improve upon that, and what you saw today was it was a well-oiled machine, so to speak. They want to see the 60s, they want to see the straight, they want to see the arm strength. Even, just the home run derby. We cut that down this year, especially in this ballpark here. I was shocked with all the home runs being hit. I was really shocked. A few years back, if you remember, up in Manchester, we had a point system. One bounce to the fence, 1 point. I expected that today, but it was exciting. But we cut that back a little bit, 5 swings instead of 10, only 2 rounds, and we went from there. And Major League Baseball likes what we're doing here with that type of event, so we're going to continue doing it.
Mario Tiani, the commissioner of the New England Collegiate Baseball League, thanks for joining us tonight, the 16th annual NECBL All-Star Game.
Thank you.
And our pregame show continues next as we get set for the first pitch coming up soon here on the ACBL Broadcast Network.